Hello, hello, hello. This is your boy Danli Divine, and this is another episode of Divine Time. Relax your mind, it's divine time. Everything seems to be going according to what the universe has in plan for me. And today I have a wonderful woman that I personally know. She's going to talk a little bit about things that she has gone through in her life and how it's impacted her, but how also at the same time she has learned from these experiences. And then if it you relate to it or you feel that somehow this has helped you, please just go ahead and message up, tap in with me, let me know, or I can let her know that she's impacting other lives as well. Because I mean, everything that goes on in life, there's somebody else that is going through it. And the best way that I feel that we all can connect is through things that we have gone through individually, which lets you know that nobody is alone. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to her and let her introduce herself and go with what she wants to say.
Hi, this is Gigi. I guess what we can talk about with me is that my latest narcissism experience, I guess. I don't know. I feel like in a way I already knew that this is the person that I dated. I already knew that he was this way. And a part of me kind of wanted to experiment, which I haven't really ever told anyone this, but I wanted to experiment with myself to see if I could handle dating a narcissist, only because my dad was also a narcissist.
Oh,
Looking for truth, transformation, and a little divine inspiration? Then you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Divine Time, the podcast where real talk meets real growth. I'm your host, Danli Divine, bringing you raw conversations, spiritual insight, and soul shifting stories that light you up from the inside out. New episodes drop 4 times as strong. We don't say week over here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you never have to wait long for your next breakthrough. If you're feeling the vibe, follow the show, like the content, share the energy, and subscribe so you never miss a divine moment. Tap the link, join the tribe, and help the light one episode at a time. This is your time. This is Divine Time.
yeah.
And a part of me wanted to feel what my mom felt because as I grew up, I witnessed all this stuff that my father used to do to my mom. So I guess a part of me wanted to understand what I had seen. Because this man was so alike to my father, I think in my brain, I was like, okay, this is the one. Let me see what it feels like to date someone like my father and go through the experience. I didn't know that I was actually going to be bonded and fall in love with this guy. And when I did, it was so hard to get out. I knew he wasn't good for me. I knew it wasn't the right thing to do or be with him. And I think I tried breaking up with him like 7 times, and I never could. He would always bring me back. He would say, you can't leave me, this and that. Somehow talk me into going back until finally, you know, when we broke up, I was so attached to him that him saying, I'm done, we're not going to do this anymore, just kind of like shocked me. And I was in disbelief that we were not going to be together, even though it's what I wanted.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
So,
that shift in the reality.
yeah. And, I told my mom this story, and she said, it is really hard to detach from someone, especially when they're a narcissist, because they know your triggers,
Mm-hmm.
they know your insecurities, they know how to make you tick in a way that benefits them.
Yeah. And I mean, ooh, yeah, all everything you just said hit home. Like my finger is itching right now. The one that I didn't know the term narcissist until the last relationship that I was in. And after, so with it, we had broke up a couple times. Like I had like a gut feeling, like something was like in me was just like run. And I knew that something was up. first time that her husband pretty much didn't like want to take no from my partner. And I was like, what the heck? And then my partner had previous from when she was younger, so she froze up, and then both of them ganged up on me, trying to tell me like, no, that's not it. Obviously, she doesn't have an issue with it if she's not saying anything and all this, and it ended up becoming in my head like, well, yeah, if she had an issue, she would say something, right? So therefore, that's where the gaslighting came in, and then I started like thinking like, okay, well, obviously, I must be fucked up because nobody else is saying anything, and I'm the only one that's throwing a fit. So that was one there, but my gut was just like, yo, don't fucking no, that's fucking wrong. There was another situation to where there was a girl at my job who had like a little crush on me, and I ended up going to a movie one time, and she ended up popping up as well because she had asked me what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to a movie, and she ended up popping up because she was like, it's around the corner from the house. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But then the narcissist that I know now, she had got upset with me because she was just like, she tried putting a rule on me. There's a difference between rules and boundaries, as I'm sure you know. A boundary is
Mm,
something that you won't
yeah.
tolerate. A rule is telling someone what they can't do. She pretty much ended up telling me, like, look, she was like, I don't want you hanging out with other girls. She was like, you need to choose like either me or anybody else. Like, nobody else is gonna join the relationship. I'm like, I don't even want anybody else. I was like, where the fuck is this coming from? And I actually had talked about this in another podcast episode I did. But there was also another situation which later on we ended up finding out that her husband had sexually touched my partner's mother twice. Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know about that. When I found out, I got heated. So we ended up reporting it to CID, but then that led to a long list of things where they ended up trying to put a restraining order on me, which I didn't do anything. And all the evidence showed that they were stalking me. All the evidence that they were providing also showed that they were lying on my friends, trying to make it seem like my friends were threatening them. So all my friends end up writing statements to protect themselves, which also come to find out that they also molested two other families in the state,
Oh, wow.
which was also one of the couples that I personally knew of that they were trying to keep me away from.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why they didn't want you.
So the fact that I
Talking.
knew everything that was going on, they tried putting a restraining order on me and started defaming my name, slandering me and everything. And what ended up happening is when they tried putting a restraining order on me, that's public. So everybody ended up submitting everything that was going on. Now everything that was happening is out in the public, which has fucked them in the long run. So everybody knows exactly what they were doing, all the stuff that they have done, and then trying to say that I did all these things, which all the evidence shows that they were stalking me. That after I had told them, like back in May, leave me the fuck alone. And then their evidence, they're trying to say that I was threatening them and everything, which I had them blocked on all social medias, but somehow they had my social medias where I had did an episode on narcissism. Remember that? And I was
Hmm.
promoting that episode. So of course I was talking about narcissists. They tried changing it, making it say that I was talking about them, which no, I was promoting the episode. It just so happened to be that I knew about narcissism at that time because of them. But then they tried saying that I was threatening them. There was no evidence of that, which I never did. Try saying all these things. There was no evidence of that. I never did. First of all, why would I even try and pull a weapon on you? I have hands. If anything, I'm like, I would fight first. Like, you know that
Yeah.
about me. So,
Yeah,
but I
right.
mean, it was a whole bunch of things that the judge ended up pretty much calling them out of what they were doing. Their attorney didn't even sound like he was convinced, but it seemed like their attorney just wanted the money, so he was defending them. But he was stuttering and trying to find ways to make them look okay. And my attorney was just like, this. And then there was even a time where she was messaging me, talking about, oh, if you want closure, I love you, and da da da. And the next day, I ended up posting like a group message where her friends were talking about the things that they did to me because she had raped me on April 23rd while she was on her period, and I was unconscious from, I'm guessing, alcohol. But you knew me, like back when I would drink, I could drink a lot,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, so I'm pretty sure I had got roofied that night. Um, yeah, and then come to find out in the long run, there was a love spell put on me and also a hex. I think that what happened was she had put a love spell on me, and then after me and my partner went to CID, they tried turning that into a hex because that was a blood ritual. So I mean, I'm had to go through all that. It's been a lot. It's been wild. She's
That's
also
crazy.
she's also spiritual, but the first date we did, we had went to a crystal store, and I remember peeping her. I'm looking at the pagan little book, had the little 5-point star with the circle, and she was looking at it, and I was
I
just like,
remember calling you that night too. You told me you were looking for that store. I remember that.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, and I'm right there. I was like, and it's funny because I've always been, I don't know the terms of things, and that's kind of what messed me up. Like I've always been a spiritual individual, but I did not know like certain things, certain names of things. So it's like even when I was small, I would like see shadows and all these things. And my mom would always be like, "Oh, those are demons, pray about it." So eventually it ended up like cutting me off like the source and stuff. But it was funny because after the whole situation, I've had at one point my mom was like, "Yo, you need to pray. There's a lot of stuff going on with you, and I don't know exactly what it is, but you need to pray." She was like, "You need to pray and try and figure out what is trying to contact you." I was like, "What?" Then 2 weeks later, my partner ends up taking me to their church anniversary, and the lady who was like one of the ladies who was preaching calls me out by what I'm wearing. I come to the front. She's like, "They're trying to contact you, but you're not listening. They've been trying to speak to you for a while. You're not listening." And I was just like, "What the heck?" I recently had a situation to where I was getting my car worked on, and the dude, me and him were talking about like conspiracies and stuff. And he was like, "You know what they call?" He was like, "You know what they call conspiracy theorists who are right about what they think?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Prophets." He was like, "I think you're a prophet." I was just like, "The fuck." And you've been around me, you've seen people be around me. Everybody always clicks and vibes with me. And I mean, I'm just like about love and literally speaking the truth and stuff.
Right.
And after that situation, was when she tried calling me a narcissist and saying that like all my friends know about you and all that stuff, and you're a narcissist. I was like, "What the fuck is a narcissist?" So I looked it up, and I was like, "What the hell?" So I was questioning. I was like, "Am I a narcissist?" I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "But I don't even do any of that stuff." I was like, "I don't." I was like, so I was like wondering. I was like, "Do I be gaslighting? Do I like be like telling people like no,
You
that never
question
happened?"
yourself.
Yeah, it was like my reality was really fucked up. So I was like wondering if I was really a bad person. I'm asking people and everything. They're like, "No." I was like, "This doesn't make sense." And then I end up learning, talking with my partner, and really going tapping into my spiritual gifts, which I didn't know that there were gifts, and I didn't really know what was going on at that time because I grew up in a religious household rather than a spiritual household. And now understanding the spiritual stuff after talking to my grandma and all that, I understand my gifts, and I understand that I'm a big empath.
Right.
And I also end up learning that narcissists latch on to empaths, which
Right.
explains why so many relationships in my past, similar things like this have happened, to where I would end up being drained, to where I would end up being made to seem like I'm the bad person, how I'm always end up in relationships with people to where it seems like everything's always going bad with them, like they're always a victim. But then after time I realized I'm like, you're the one causing all this shit. So I mean, it was wild. But yeah, I'm not too much. This is your time. This is your time.
Right. No, I mean everything you're saying kind of, I mean almost everything. They really do latch on to you. It's not that you attract them, but you kind of do by
Hmm.
being yourself, by being an empath, by being like giving, and they're like, well, I'm going to take whatever you're going to give to me. Another thing is, the whole bond, I'm still kind of working through it. And it's been 6 months, and I've done so much research. And there's people that have gone years and years,
Yeah,
still are bonded. It's like a lifelong thing.
it is.
And I try staying friends with everyone that I've dated, which is not always possible
Yeah.
because you have to move on. You have to have no contact. So I'm saying that I'm still working through it because there are times that, yeah, he may be a narcissist, my ex, but there's still good things about him. And that's
Hmm.
what I see being an empath.
Yeah.
You see the good in people,
Yes,
which
and that's a weakness
you,
for us though.
yeah, you overlook the logical sense of they're not good for you.
And I'm due to the situation that I have dealt with, that my family has dealt with, honestly. My partner, like Jade, you remember I used to ask her along for a while. I used to be like, "Yo, let me know what you think about this person." Whoop de woo. Now
Mm.
she's actually finally doing that, and she's just like informs me of like, okay, well, I don't really like this or I feel this way or whatever. And I'm like, good bet. Because I realized I'm like, I'm an emotional individual. And the narcissists that we were dealing with, they knew that. And they would do things to try and get me to react in an emotional way. And you know me, like if I'm passionate about something, I naturally just get like a little loud because I'm excited about it. They
Yeah.
end up trying to make that seem like I'm being aggressive or the fact that, yeah, like it'll be like something along the lines of, let's say she would text me and I'm at work and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm working. I can't talk right now." She's like, why are you pulling away?" I'm like, "I'm not pulling away. I'm at work. Like, I can't be on my phone right now." She's like, "I feel like you're just trying to pull away and you don't want to talk to me." And I'm like, "I'm at work. Like, are you serious?" And she's like, "Why are you yelling?" I'm like, "I'm not yelling. Like, you're trying to make it seem like I don't want nothing to do with you, and now I'm the bad person."
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's your fault that they get mad at you.
Exactly. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't. I don't understand this at all.
Right.
But yeah, it was wild. I mean, I've never really paid attention to all the things that were going on until I learned what a narcissist was, thanks to her. But it's just wild at the fact that I'm like, you do so much to try and look nice in someone in everybody else's eyes. But I'm like, the things that you're doing, I don't even know if she's aware of the things that she's doing. I'm like, she's got to be because I'm like, with all the lies that that they have been telling collectively, and after the judge and the attorney, my attorney ended up calling them out. I'm just like, yo, you have to be aware now. Like, I remember at one point I told her, I was like, look, you need to get help. I was like, you, at the time, it was just more about her PTSD and her depression. And she said that she would. I'm not even sure if she ever really did. I love this. Like tag,
Right.
hear it.
Yeah, you're right.
But
It's,
yeah, I mean, it's something. I mean, a lot of people that I've been talking to, oh, it seems like a lot of people have been dealing with narcissists or people with narcissistic tendencies and behaviors. I'm not a mental health therapist. I can't diagnose anyone, but I mean, those
by
behaviors
definition,
definitely,
I mean, those are
yeah.
the behaviors. And, before me and him ever dated, I told him, "You're a narcissist." And he's like, "No, I'm not. You are." And I'm like, "Do you know what a narcissist is?" And he's like, "What?" And then I read it to him and he was just quiet because he knew that I
Mm.
was right. And,
I.
I was driving to Oregon last weekend and
Mhm.
when you're on a long drive, like you always get memories coming up, and this song came on. And of course, like it takes me back to my childhood. And there was a point in time where it was so to me as a 10-year-old, seeing my mom, beaten up and bloodied up. And I thought
Keep talking. I'm about to do something.
this is the time where I realized that my dad was the way he is. And I thought, I don't really, I mean, you love your parents unconditionally, but that's when I decided I had a little bit of hatred towards him for
Mm.
hurting her like that. And being as me feeling so and all the things he used to say, like, "You don't deserve this, you don't deserve a toy." And all my brothers and sisters got toys except for me because he would tell me I do not deserve it. And so after my ex and I broke up, I went on a date with this guy. And I said something about flowers, and I'm like, "Oh, I love flowers." And he's like, "So do you think you deserve flowers?" And him
Oh wow.
saying that word like triggered
Trigger.
it. And I just started crying. And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, Again, nothing is wrong. I don't feel like nothing's wrong. But the word, do you think you deserve this, made me think of my dad. So I feel like that's something that I have to work through too, because my dad, being a narcissist says, "You don't deserve this, you don't deserve this." So you grow up being brainwashed, thinking you don't deserve something,
Hmm.
and you work through your emotions, through your mental state, trying to tell yourself you do deserve certain things. And as soon as someone tells you, "Do you deserve it?" like it triggers you back.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that I gotta say I love about me is ever since I was small, when people tell me that I didn't deserve something or I couldn't do something, I always tried to prove them wrong. So looking at it, it could be a positive and a negative because sometimes, like in this case, it's a positive and a negative. The positive is she had told me that my podcast wasn't gonna make it. Like when I had started my podcast, she was like, that's not really gonna do anything. She was like, now your pepper sauce, that could do something. She was like, but the podcast, she was like, that's not gonna do anything. I was just like, fuck. And I took that as in watch. Now the podcast is booming. It's getting recognized. And I mean, I didn't really have support by anybody when I was first starting it. I felt like more people were waiting for it to fail. But I took that and took what she said and turned it into a watch. And it was the
Mm.
same thing with like my ex-wife, where she was told me things and I was like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I mean, even with past relationships, I'm like, I'm gonna prove it wrong. I took it as in like to build on myself because I was like, you know what, the only thing I'm really in charge of is myself. And I'm not gonna sit here. I've in the past I would mope on things. Now I'm just like, nah, fuck that. I'm stronger than that. I was like, no, no, because when I make it and I do it and it's successful, I know, you know what, I did this and I proved you wrong because you made me out to be nothing. And look where I'm at now. But going on, how you said you were doing a drive, I just got done driving across country, up and left. I'm no longer in the state. Sorry.
What?
But I will come back. I will come back because I couldn't tell anybody. I'll talk to you about that offline.
I
I'm
didn't
not gonna
even know
put
you did.
I'm not gonna put it in the podcast, but I'll talk to you offline on all that. But with it, how you said when you're driving, you end up getting flashbacks, and I would have flashbacks, and I would start getting mad, and then my guardian angels would end up putting on this song, and it seemed like almost every time, and that's when I was just like, all right, I know you're still with me, like my ancestors, y'all are with me. It's I'm gonna send you the link to it, but I'm gonna play a little of it right now. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Listen.
Wait, it's not playing anything right now. I can't hear it.
You can't.
It like goes in and out.
I think what I'll do is I'll probably end up attaching it, but I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah.
It's 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 wild. Like this dude is talking about how he's free, he's freer than he ever been. He's away from the toxic individual now that he knows exactly how they are. Like right here, he said, "I won't be under your control, not anymore." He said, "You'll see me like I'm heaven sent. I'll be, or I feel alive when I'm relevant. I won't be under your control, and you won't see me no more." And I was just like, bruh. And the song keeps going about how he has freed himself from the toxicity and negativity of this individual. And I was just like, bruh, but I'm going to go ahead and send this to you right now as well, so that way you have it. Because when you end up having those moments, I want you to have this like in your playlist to where hopefully your ancestors as well can remind you and be like, look, you've come very far and shit gets a lot better. And you have freed yourself. I mean, that's one of the hardest things is to free yourself. But once
Oh
you
yeah.
do, it's like you still have those moments where you're like, damn, and it crosses your mind. And the crazy thing about the mind, the way that we are is once you end up getting that your amygdala goes and you think about it, now it's almost like those same exact feelings you had at that moment, you're having them again, that flashback.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, damn. And then it's like you have to kind of walk yourself back out of it. And I mean, with me with the PTSD, I realized that I was like, oh, here we go again. I mean, I'm not sure if you've ever seen me when I like had a slight episode,
Yeah, I
but
have. It's a little scary too.
yeah, it's just like, okay, all right, here we go again. And then now it's like I have a whole new set of triggers that I have to think about.
Oh yeah.
Things that had nothing to do with how I was brought up or I didn't think had anything to do with how I was brought up or had nothing to do with the war. Now it's just like a person has caused this. And I'm just like, I let people get to me that bad to where now it's like it's affecting my mental. I was like, this is wild. So now it's every day is another learning experience. And I mean, the smallest things can have you end up thinking about something and you're just like, how did I allow that to happen?
Yeah, right. I mean, I knew how I did it. I knew I was doing it. I just didn't
Mhm.
realize it was going to be that bad. And now I'm like, well, I'm not going to say I regret it, but in a way, I kind of do.
Yes.
Like, whenever I meet people and I can tell, like, the red flags come up, I just think, keep your distance. You can talk
And
to them, but keep your distance.
that's one thing, because you've seen me like before. It's like I didn't really have boundaries. I was just like love for everyone. I felt like I was Oprah with the love. I was just like, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
And now
that's it.
I'm like, okay, I have to have boundaries. I have to adhere my boundaries. And with that, I've lost a lot of people because they're like, oh, you've changed. I'm like, nah, I'm just not gonna allow anybody to
Yeah,
disrespect me or use me and abuse me. I was like,
exactly.
I don't like that feeling. And I mean,
You don't like feeling disrespected,
yes,
not only because they're doing it, but because you're allowing it. I just
yes,
recently had someone disrespect me, and then they're like, oh, don't be mad, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I have the right to be mad. You did this, you hurt me on purpose, knowing you were going to hurt me. Why can you hurt me and expect me not to be mad?
exactly. Like, why are you trying to invalidate my feelings on how I feel based off of the
Yeah,
things that you've done? You can't get upset at me for the way that I'm reacting from what you have done to me.
right. It's like someone stepping on your toes and you not doing anything and being like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Go ahead, step on it again.
Yeah,
Like,
I like the
no,
pain. Like, what the fuck? No.
no,
I mean, some people
no,
might like the
thank
pain, but
you.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's wild. And I mean, just to
Even
think
even
that
if they're a
there's,
friend, like they should, if they're your friend, they should know, not to cross these boundaries if
but of
they want to
course, you have
continue
to
being
make those
friends.
boundaries known. You need to make those
Yep.
boundaries known. It's not like somebody crosses your boundary and they had no idea. You just shut them down, like kick them
Right.
out. I mean, you need to
Whereas
make these things.
before, whereas before, I'd be like, oh, okay, like it's all right. Like, no, not anymore. You have to
Mhm.
keep, like you said, you have to keep your boundaries because you deserve respect.
So I have a few questions for you. If you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, would you do it again?
No, because it really messed up my mental health and my heart. There was plenty of times where I felt like a prisoner. I felt like I couldn't go anywhere, do anything, talk to anyone, see anyone. There was a point in time where I wanted to kill myself a couple times, and then I knew I shouldn't, but I felt like that
Mm-hmm.
was my option. And
Yeah.
then they were there and they would hug, like, he would hug me and say, like, I love you, you need to be here, this and that. So it would make me feel like he was the only one who understood me when he was the cause of it.
Yeah. Like you're trying to get away from them, but at the same time, like they're the only one that
Mhm.
understands why you feel the way you do.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it like messed me up so bad to where my confidence was at a zero. And I think I told you this too. Like I used to be
mm-hmm.
so confident. Everyone would always tell me like, "Oh, you're like as soon as you walk out the door, you shine." And I'm no longer that person.
I remember telling you that one time. I was like, "You're shining." You were like, "It might be my new makeup." I was like, "No, no." I remember
Yeah.
that.
So it's been taking me a little bit to get myself back up to that
Hmm.
confidence level I used to have.
Yes, and it really does take some time. And I mean, I'm still going through that now, and that's one of the things. Like I've isolated myself from everyone, kind of like shut them off, just so that way I can focus on me and get myself back to where I need to be. And I mean, I'm glad that I'm doing that, and it sucks for a little while, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, it when you're truly loving yourself, and you used to hear me say it all the time. I'm like, one of the issues that people used to have is like hurt people. A lot of people from relationship to relationship, and they never take the time to heal. And when we take that time to heal and really understand the things. Yo, are you ready to feed your soul, expand your mind, and hear truth that hits different? Then welcome to Divine Time, the podcast where real conversations meet real transformation. I'm your host, Danli Divine, and every episode is packed with wisdom, healing, and that spark you didn't know you needed. From personal breakthroughs to powerful guest stories, this is the space where we grow, glow, and go deep. If you're feeling the vibe, don't just listen. Follow the show, like the content, share the energy, and most importantly, subscribe so you never miss a divine moment. This is your time, so relax your mind. It's divine time. That you're holding the skeletons in your closet. I was like, now it's like when you go into a new relationship, you're not carrying all that baggage, and you possibly can better another individual. I'm trying to get to the point to where it's like I love myself so much that if I'm with somebody else, they're adding to the love that I have, and we can share that together. Rather than I love myself and I'm pouring all my love into another individual, refilling their cup while draining myself. No, I'm done with that. I have another question for you. Out of the situations that you have been in, what life lessons have you learned?
Life lessons or like my top lesson? My top lesson right now, I would say is don't get attached. You can love without
Hmm.
attachment. And I feel like love without attachment is the purest type of love. Because if you love someone and they one day decide, I don't want to be with you, you can still love them and not be with them. And,
It's that agape love.
yeah, yeah. So when you love someone without being attached to them,
Hmm.
it benefits everyone. And it just feels like actual, pure, unconditional love.
Now, for anybody who may be in or has dealt with, or anybody who may still be in a very toxic relationship with a narcissist, what advice would you give them?
If they can and are safe to do so, definitely go to someone that supports you, a family member, get out if they haven't tried already,
Hmm.
because in the end, it will pretty much diminish your spirit. Not so much you, but it's more of they break your spirit.
They do.
So, I mean, I know some people can't. They have kids and they think, I mean, I'm not going to say they can't, but they
It's
feel like
difficult. It's
it's very
difficult. They have a
difficult.
lot of things that are tying into it.
Correct. And when they finally do, still they have to have some sort of communication with this person. But I feel like they need to keep it very just to the situation.
Hmm.
Like, if you're just going to talk about our kids, that's fine. Don't ask me how my day's going. Don't ask me, how I'm doing. We're talking about the kids. Like, keep your boundaries to what you two have in common, which is the children.
Yes.
And aside from that, don't ask them how they're doing because then they're just going to reel you back in.
Facts on facts. They're gonna try and
Mhm.
the emotional manipulation is ridiculous.
Right, but definitely try to get out. And I read somewhere that it takes at least 7 to 10 times before someone can actually leave a toxic or a narcissistic relationship.
Hmm.
And I feel like I'm proof to that because I really did try to break up and leave multiple times and was never able to until I had to get the police involved.
And for me, I had tried ending it about 4 times, and each time she tried pulling me. Like each time she had successfully pulled me back in, talking about, I don't know why you want to leave. Nothing is wrong. There was even a time where she had told me like what her husband was doing, and I was just like, the fuck? I was like, no. I was like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I was like, no, I'm not dealing with this. And I was just like, look, it's best for y'all go y'all separate ways because I and that was like the probably the second time where I felt like, okay, y'all relationship is failing and y'all are trying to. I felt like she just at the time I felt like their relationship was just failing and they were trying to find like some type of spark to kind of reignite it. And then now I know she is the controlling one. And ultimately, she wants other supplies probably because she's draining the hell out of him.
Right.
Because I
They
remember
got
at
to
one
keep
point
their
he
little
told,
roster up.
yeah, I remember at one point he told me he was like, it's nice to like talk to he was saying it was nice to talk to Jade because he didn't always have to be drained afterwards. He can kind of just chill and relax. And he's the crazy thing is like they would tell on themselves, but I didn't know about this stuff before. So now that I know about it, I'm like, dang. So the time where he was telling me like, yeah, she loves to be in control. I didn't I didn't piece that together. The times where she was always talking negative about all her partners, making it seem like all her partners have always done her wrong and woe is me. I didn't think about it at that time, like, okay, plus adding on to the things that I was dealing with
Right.
her. I didn't think about how he even like when I had finally broke it off with her the final time, which was probably about the seventh time. Funniest shit that you say that. Probably like the seventh time. And then her husband ends up breaking up with Jade via text message. Sorry it didn't work out. Bye.
Oh, wow. So classy.
It was, but then she's mad at me and said that I disrespected her because I broke it off with her via phone. I was like, your husband broke it off with a text message. I was like, then to top it all off, we had like two of their items and they wouldn't allow us to get to meet up with them and give them their items. And they tried to get Jade's mom involved so that way they can meet up with her at her job, and then lied saying that they had no idea about that. And our mom, like Jade's mom, ended up showing us text messages and everything. We have them in all the lies, and the judge ended up calling them out
Yeah.
on it. But then he was also like, well, okay, because he ended up messaging Jade and was like, well, how? He was like, well, can we get our wood burner and our cleaner back? And Jade was like, well, I can't get on base. I can just meet y'all right outside base, because he was in Virginia and she was still at their house on base. And he was
Mhm.
like, no. And he was like, he was like, just give it to your mom and we'll get it from her. And we're like, first, like Jade was like, first of all, why are you trying to get my mom involved with this? We didn't even know that he had molested her mom like twice already. Yeah. So then with that, then his wife ended up going and messaging Jade's mom, trying to coordinate that. And the crazy thing was that they started off with Happy Mother's Day.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, and then was like, could you grab our stuff and bring it to work with you? And then I'll pick it up from there. And Jade's mom's like, why don't they just give it to you? And she's like, well, I think it'll just be easier if you just did that and da da da. And it's like, okay, so we already offered to give it to you. And then it goes to the point where her husband ends up messaging Jade is like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just send a mutual friend over. And we're like, we're trying to give y'all stuff and y'all are making it so we can't give it to you. So like, why are y'all trying to get other people involved? And then after all this stuff, we end up finding out because they're trying to make it seem like we're trying not to give anything to them and we're being all this asshole and all this stuff. And it's like, bro, we have the messages where we're saying that we're trying to give it to you. I'm like, it's wild. It was wild. I'm like, y'all literally went through all this stuff to try and make us look like bad people, but and then showing people what you want them to see, not the full thing. So that way it looks like we're bad people. But I'm like, again, in court, she was doing the same thing, trying to the bits and pieces to make me look like a bad person. And I was just like, submit everything. So it showed the whole context of everything. There was even a time where I was very like fed up and I was being down on myself. And I ended up seeing like some of my dead family members, my ancestors. And I had wrote about that in the love diary. She took that and made it seem like I was trying to, like I wanted to see my family dead. And I was just like, how? I was like, and she had highlighted the parts that she wanted the judge to see. And I submitted the whole thing so the judge could see. And I was like, look, if any, I was like, if you read the whole thing, you see that I was down on myself because of everything that was going on. I felt like I was being a bad partner to her and to Jade. I was like, so why would I want to kill my family? I was like, you're doing all this to try and make me seem like I'm a bad, abusive person and everything, when in all honesty, I haven't done anything. I was like, and after talking with my grandma explained to me why I see my ancestors at certain times and why it calms me down.
Because they're there helping to protect
And
you.
I didn't know at that time. And like I said, during that whole relationship, there was a lot of things like my spiritual gifts were trying to speak to me. And so when I was hearing all these people tell me like, they're trying to contact you and you're not listening. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. It took it took Thanksgiving of last year when I went to North Carolina and saw pretty much my family for Thanksgiving to where everything ended up coming out. And I was like, oh my God, I am probably one of the strongest in my family. And now I'm just like, I've got my rose quartz, my amethyst, my white quartz, everything right now, just so the moon can hit it and cleanse all that stuff. I have gotten so deep into this just because of the fact that I know what's really going on now. There
Yeah.
is there's so much more than the physical that we see. And it's funny because I remember you talking about making the moon water and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I was like real intrigued, but I didn't know how deep it gets. Like there's so much that I'm sure you know about that I'm still learning about.
Yeah.
And
And I
I'm
still
just
don't
like,
know all sorts of stuff, but I mean, it's interesting to me and it calms me down. It brings me peace
mhm,
to do certain things, certain rituals that other people might not understand, but I do, and so it makes me feel better.
It's
Yeah.
the spirituality, especially with the spiritual wars that's going on at the moment. I did not understand at the time. Like when me and you were together, I did not understand. Um, the things that I know now, I wish I knew back then, because I'm gonna get a little sappy real quick. I feel like I could have been an even better partner for you at that time. Because I personally feel like I let you down on a few things. Um, but I'm like, now I feel like we can possibly like sit up and chop it up on the spiritual side.
Yeah, right.
But yes, I mean, I'm glad that you were able to come on and share some of your experience and things that you've learned. Do you think that there's anything that you possibly could say to anyone for like any like support groups or anything to
There's
really just keep them
definitely
to
a lot of
continue
support
pushing?
groups. Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of support groups. Um, I didn't go to any only because when you leave a toxic relationship,
Hmm.
you kind of have to recharge in your own way. My own way of recharging and just kind of cleansing my spirit is being by water and solitude. Like
Okay.
you did. You left. You were by yourself for a while and detached. That's your way of recharging and cleansing also.
Yes.
Some people, they gotta socialize, they gotta, be with friends and family. And if that's the way that they want to recharge their spirit, then definitely support groups is the way. So I guess it's just finding out which way you feel at peace
Hmm.
after leaving a toxic or narcissistic relationship. Do that. I can't tell them which one to do.
Yeah, because everybody's their own individual. So it's like,
Right.
yo, if it works for you, cool. If it doesn't, hey, maybe you can pass that wisdom on to somebody else.
Yeah. Yep.
Blessings. You are a
Yep.
beautiful being. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I
All
am
right.
I'm glad to have been on here and hear
Hey,
your voice and your face.
oh my God, you making it seem like I have like been gone forever.
It seems like it, yeah.
No, no, just a wee bit, but not
Just
forever.
a wee. That's
But yeah,
funny.
we definitely have to link up and talk about some more things as well, because the podcast is more on to like the spirituality, the mental health, mental health, mental health, and growing as an individual. That's what I'm have the podcast going as, because I'm like I'm so much more than just polyamory, you know.
Right. Yep.
And I'm like, so with that, I'm like, I want this platform to be something that where everyone can relate to. There's a little something for everyone. And I mean, one thing that everybody in this world deals with is the issues
The
that we end up
mind.
going through
Yep.
with the mind. So
The
it's like,
mind,
and
the
that right,
heart.
yes, exactly. So I'm just like that right there, because I'm like, being the empaths that we are, we deal with a lot of shit. It sucks, but and I think the reason we deal with the amount of stuff that we do deal with is because of the fact that we're strong enough to take it, and we are able to find a way to turn into something positive to impact others in a positive way.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not
But
always fair. It doesn't
it's
seem
not.
fair,
It's a
but
heavy
it
burden.
is. Yep.
Yep, it's a heavy burden. But I'm gonna let you get back, and once again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of
All
your day. All right.
right. All right.
Love
I'll
you.
talk to you later. Love you.